One of the biggest and best things to ever happen for VR is only 6 days away, and it's even better than we ever imagined. Start getting ready, because we're about to play Bonelab in 6 days. 6 freaking days! How insane is that? Stress Level Zero just dropped this absolute bombshell of an announcement on us only an hour ago. And on Thursday, September 29th, we are going to get Bonelab on Quest and on Steam. You know, just casually the game that is the successor to Boneworks, and is also theorized to possibly include the entire game of Boneworks within Bonelab. With fully custom characters, native mod support, and a fully compatible Quest version, this game is going to change the VR industry as we know it. One of the best VR games of all time was once locked behind PC VR. All the people who came in because of the Quest 2's low price had no ability to play Boneworks because they would have to buy a $1,000 computer. Now they are going to get that experience and more in just 6 days. I cannot stress how insane that is that close. Up until this point, we had no idea what the release date was supposed to be. Stress Level Zero had been completely silent on that, only stating that it was in 2022. So now to just suddenly have this release date trailer with Thursday being the actual thing they said Thursday, not the date first, they said Thursday because it's that freaking close. Like, I can't explain how much I'm freaking out about this. This is insane. Back at the very end of 2019 is when Stress Level Zero released Boneworks. It came out on Steam, and it was a massive success. Boneworks sold over 100,000 units in just 1 week of being on the store. While some people criticize it for the fact that it is basically a glorified tech demo, which, yeah, it kinda is, Boneworks was never about the story first. Boneworks was made to push the limits of interactability in VR, and Bonelab is going to take that to the next level. Let's break down the trailers really quick just to get a good understanding. So right off the bat, we start by seeing a character randomizer. This already sets this above Boneworks. Bonelab is looking to have a huge focus on the actual character that you play as. More will come on this later. And then the noose comes in. It just sets the tone for how this game is going to be, and I'm so excited. In the description of the video, we get a little bit of an insight onto what the story is going to be. Suspected of seancing with an unknown power, you are on trial. During your execution, you are called to action. Escaping death, you descend into an unknown underworld lab. A series of preparatory challenges await you, but for what? Will you transcend them and discover your calling? And as we move through the trailer, we see that we're in this kind of underground dungeon aesthetic, but as we make our way through it, it quickly turns to that classic Boneworks look. And also, can we just talk about the fact that there is a shotgun in the game now? And this room is where things get insane. Right off the bat, straight in front of you, you see the body mall. Now this could be the single most important part of the game. Bonelab is going to come with an extremely robust system to import whatever avatars you want and then use them in the game as they are. That means that if you're a bigger avatar, you'll have a lot more weight to push around. And if you're smaller, things are going to be harder to move. And we'll touch more on this kind of stuff in a second. But just keep in mind that this means you could take even your VR chat avatar and throw it into this game and literally be playing Bonelab as whoever you play as in VR chat, or whatever other game you use an avatar for. And because I don't know this information firsthand, and I probably will butcher it, I'm going to let Thrillseeker explain a little bit here.
In the game, you can be anyone or anything that you want. You can be a hot anime waifu, Master Chief, PewDiePie, it doesn't matter. Bonelab has a body remapping system that allows you to import any character model you want. Meaning, I can grab my VRChat avatar, import it into Bonelab, and play the game as my virtual self, which is kind of crazy. But it's not just a simple avatar import. Marrow fills in the gaps to give your character all sorts of attributes and sizes the character appropriately for your actual body, so that whether you're a 3-foot-tall anime girl or a 12-foot-tall orc, the game will act appropriately and it will function like you'd expect. But this also changes the way that you interact with your own virtual body. In the beginning of the trailer, the user rolls a dice as a character randomizer, and you can see that their own interactions with their avatar changes as the body size changes as well. Basically, Stress Level Zero have created a full avatar physics characteristic and proportion mapper. As it says here, no matter the avatar, if you touch your actual hips, you'll also be touching the hips of your avatar. It automatically sizes and proportions everything, of course, assuming that the avatar actually has hips.
So yeah, it's a pretty big deal. There's going to be so much exciting and fun stuff that happens because of this. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. A dedicated mod booth, which yes, that means that mods are natively supported. That detail is what sets Bonelab above everything else. Because there is so much in the gaming industry that has come from mods, and there are games that are kept alive solely by mods. And now here we are with one of the single most advanced VR games ever created, now also natively supporting mods. And this should be setting an industry precedent. Native modding support is what's going to absolutely make this game a historical release. But if you thought things were as good as they were gonna get, you are wrong. The reason why we're making this video today is to break down the second trailer, the release date trailer. There's a good amount packed into this, so we're gonna try and breeze through it pretty quick. And right away you can tell that this is a totally different avatar than anything we've seen so far. The combat looks awesome, the environment looks awesome. It's so exciting. And then this happens. The way that my jaw dropped and I gasped so loudly when this happened, I could not believe it. I was in shock with this. There is a built-in mechanic of changing your character in-game to solve puzzles. If that doesn't show you that a big focus of Bonelab is going to be your character and the customization of it, I don't know what does. And then we've just got another moment that shows that characters are key in this game. By switching to a different character with different capabilities, you can solve puzzles differently. And then we've got another brand new gun that I just cannot wait to get my hands on. Take a moment to appreciate how absolutely amazing this combat looks. To think that this is now available to not just PC VR players, but Quest players too, is so exciting. Then they bring in this tank character, where it's literally you can just go up and punch somebody. Like, there's going to be different health attributes, there's going to be different levels of damage, there's going to be different levels of everything. The weight that you have can throw things around, and then not to mention we've got some moving pistons that are just straight up ripped out of Portal, which I love that they're going to embrace that aesthetic. Like this character further on in the trailer, he literally just tips over a dumpster like it's nothing. Like, you just go watch this trailer. I'm not gonna break down too much of it, but just go watch it because, oh my god, there's so much here and it's so good. It really just goes to show how much focus they've put into these characters and using them to affect the environment differently. Each character has its own strengths and weaknesses that you're going to have to use. And with the possibility of importing custom characters through that system, yes, you will be able to probably break it. I'm sure you could probably put some character in that would just have this insane statistic that you could just blaze through the entire game, or be so small that you can't affect anything. But getting to have a character that feels so good with its weight and feels correct with its matching to you, you will be able to embody these characters so well. And that's what I think makes Bonelab so special. What's going to push Bonelab to be a landmark game for VR. The fact that community-made stuff is going to be at a forefront in this game is something that is a desperate need in the VR industry. This could set a precedent changing how people look at VR games going forward. Literally on the Steam page, it shows an example of a user-generated level where you are going bowling with a go-kart. Think about that. Think about the fact that you can do that and the creativity that will come along with that for other things. Boneworks has always been about the embodiment and the realism of being in this world, and Bonelab is just taking it to the next step. Given how successful Boneworks was, think of the numbers that Bonelab is going to pull in with a Quest release. Stress level 0, they just understand what they're doing, and it looks like they're going to deliver on that and more. I haven't been able to gush about this enough, but I know that this video is getting a little bit long, so I'm just going to cut it here. So yeah, get excited. It is time to play Bonelab. I'll see you around soon. Bye.